is very clear. Yeah, I'm excited today, even though we're still working on it, but I'm excited about what we've been able to get so far. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is 10 minutes after the hour with my radio voice. It is 10 minutes after the hour. But I'm excited to be here because this is the day that the Lord has made. And y'all know what? We're going to go ahead and rejoice and be glad in it. For those of you that are coming on, please do your boy a favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody, and let them know Prophet Ramon is live on the Ramon Preston Show. Live, y'all, from Buckhead, the Beverly Hills of the South, the financial district of Atlanta. I'm so excited because what I'm talking about today, y'all, is going to really be a blessing to some of you who are doing everything you need to do to get your finances in order, to get your business in order, to get your house in order. So please, if you're coming on, hit that like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody. Shout out to all of our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, LinkedIn, family members and friends, tribe members, all of y'all. I appreciate all of you for your love, for your support. Since we've launched the Ramon Preston Show, we've continued to develop, we've continued to evolve, we've continued to do what we need to do to bring not just spiritual, but to bring economic deliverance to the lives of God's people. That's what my assignment is, y'all, in this season. For those of you that know me personally, some of you might not know me personally, but for those of you that do know me, then you know exactly what I mean when I say this. But I want to say this to those of you that don't know me, because I'm a prophet, but I'm an entrepreneur as well. And as a prophet to the church, to the body of Christ, to this generation, I always lean into my prophetic assignment to see what exactly is God doing and to hear what exactly is God saying. And once I get that revelation from God, I immediately begin moving in that direction. And so for the past few years, but more specifically for the past several months, it's really been heavy on me to teach and to train and to educate people like you, our people, God's people, of things that are concerning biblical economics. And I know, I'm just being kind about it, but I know we've been doing an extraordinary job since we've started this revolution, if you will. But for those of you that don't know me, that's what my assignment is. I have been in full-time entrepreneurship for the last 18 years. My wife and I, we were married 18 years ago. In September, we'll be celebrating 18 years since I married my beautiful wife. And from the time my wife and I were married all the way up until now, which has been roughly 18 years, even though we met 19 years ago, but we got married 18 years ago. We moved together and we started our lives together. And for the last 18 years, me and my wife, we set out to be entrepreneurs, to be obedient to God, and to do everything we've needed to do to build a successful and a sustainable organizational enterprise. And to make a long 18-year journey and story short, for the past few years, we're talking about 3 years or so, just a little over 3 years, my wife and I have really been leaning in to educate people with regard to financial literacy, entrepreneurship, business ownership, investments, and family legacy wealth building. Up until 3 years ago, my wife and I, we really didn't say a lot about financial literacy, even though when I was pastoring for 12 and a half years, I talked about it a little bit and I helped people. My wife and I, we've been in real estate for the entire 18 years of our marriage. So even in real estate, you learn a lot about finances, you learn a lot about banking, you learn a lot about lending, you learn a lot about mortgages, you learn a lot about taxes, you learn a lot about everything in real estate, because it just seems like everything is connected to real estate. So throughout the years of these 18 years, my wife and I, we've always understood a lot of the basic fundamentals concerning financial literacy and everything that's in between. We're talking about entrepreneurship, owning businesses, and the like. But we never made it a mandate because we just didn't get that revelation from God. And so 3 years ago, when we really started leaning in to fix our own personal financial situation, even though we was making money, even though we was out here hustling and grinding and being entrepreneurs, we really didn't put ourselves in the best position to build wealth. And that's when the Lord started knocking on the door of my heart, showing me that, no, bruh, you got to build wealth. Because what I want you to do for my people, you got to be in a wealthy position. You can't just be around here making a little money, looking good and feeling good about yourself and making sure your family is good. You got to put yourself in a wealth position. And so that's what we've done, and that's what we're doing. And with the Ramon Preston Show, this is the platform that I, as a prophet, as an entrepreneur, as an educator, as a trainer, as a coach, and as a consultant, this show is what I'm using, my squad and I, my family and I, we're using to share with you what we've learned to get where we are in our financial life. And so today, y'all, guess what? I'm going to be talking about a topic that I don't even know if a lot of y'all are familiar with, but the topic is based on a question. It's based on a question. The question is, what's your IEC ratio? What's your IEC ratio? I would say by a show of hands if we was in a mastermind, but since we're not in a mastermind, I'm gonna say in the comments, can somebody give me an idea what you think IEC is? What do you think IEC ratio is? I want you to put in the comments what you think IEC ratio is. What are the words behind I, E, and C? I want somebody to take a shot at it. Whether you're on Facebook, whether you on YouTube, whether you on Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, LinkedIn. You could be on Mars for all I care. Somebody take a shot at it if you can. What do you think IEC is in IEC ratio? Because I want you to know what your IEC ratio is. Now, if you try to Google it, they ain't gonna find it, is it? No. You're not gonna find that if you try to Google it. You know, I come up with my own terms, things that make sense to me, because the truth is, if it makes sense to me, it probably makes sense to a whole lot of other people like me, because we might not be the brightest lights in the room, and I say that respectfully. I ain't trying to dog you. I'm just saying, though, we might not be the brightest financial lights or economic lights in the room, but we lights in the room. Right. And so because we lights in the room, there are just some things that we're gonna learn, and we're gonna figure out formulas and systems that work for us. Do you know, Siobhan on Facebook says, now why you put it on there? You know it, you cheating. You cheating, you can't put the answer. Aloris, how you doing, cuz? Siobhan said, it's in, since my personal assistant just cheated and gave y'all the answer, it's, yes, you capping. It's income, expense, and cash flow. Income, expense, and cash flow. So I want to know, what's your IEC ratio? Do you know what your IEC ratio is? Do you have an idea of what the calculations are, or what the metrics are, or what the ratio is between your income, your expenses, and your cash flow? What is your IEC ratio? And I don't want you to be capping either. Wildflower said income, expense, cash flow. Of course, because somebody just told. Somebody just told everybody what it is. So it's income, it's expense, and it's cash flow. So I want you to think about, what is your ratio? In order for you to not just build a solid financial foundation, because we talked about that a little bit yesterday, but in order for you to really figure out where the financial wiggle room is in your life. Like, what can you actually move out of the way or bring into the circle of your financial life in order for you to be able to make those types of moves. Wildflower talking about no idea. I know, it's all good. Income, expense, cash flow. But in order for you to really be able to have some wiggle room, in order to find out, like, do I have some extra income that I can make? Do I have expenses that I can minimize? Do I have some space in my life, whether it's with my time, my talents, or my treasures, which is my money? Do I have some space where I can create more cash flow opportunities? In order for you to answer those questions, you got to answer this question: what is my income, expense, cash flow ratio? In other words, I need to know what the mathematical difference is between my income, my expenses, and my cash flow. Now let's lay a foundation if we can, y'all. Okay, so we got what the IEC is, right? I was gonna give them a $25 cash app, but wasn't nobody gonna get it. I know, because it's hard to figure it out. I was gonna give away like $25 cash apps, but I know it's gonna be hard for everybody to get that, because I be coming up with my own analogies and what do you call them? Not analogies. I forgot what the word is. Ashley was on here one day and she used the word, but yeah, I'm not that bougie. I'm from the hood. Whatever it is, I be coming up with my own words. Yeah, I come up with my own words. I come up with my own words. I don't know what that word is. So income, expense, cash flow ratio. How do we find out what our income and expense cash flow ratio is, and why does it even matter? And what are we going to do when we do find out what our IEC ratio is? All right. Well, here's where we're going to start. We're going to start here. The reason why your income, expense, and cash flow ratio is important. Thank you, Tony. She found it. Acronym. Acronym. That's the word. Thank you. I'm glad we got somebody who's brilliant. We got us a little brain genius on YouTube today. Yeah, it's acronym. I wanted to say analogy. I don't know why I keep using the word analogy like I'm reading the Bible or something.
That's what you told me yesterday.
Analogy? I said analogy? Wow. I told you analogy yesterday. I was so wrong. I mean, like, off. I was off.
So I had to help the people today.
Yeah, because I'm always doing that. I be coming up with words and they make sense to me. But a lot of times they make sense to, when we was talking about it, the IEC ratio,
And I was going to get $100.
and I explained to you what it means and how it actually works when you start breaking the math down with these three words in your own personal finances. It's easy to understand. I think a lot of times people are intimidated of financial literacy. People push away from learning about financial literacy. Tony said, I was going to say the IEC, but I saw Shell. Right? She got a whole cheat code over there on her notepad. She got a cheat code. So anyway, let's begin here. Your income. Some of y'all have heard me say this before, but I think it's very important, if you never heard this, for you to hear this for the first time. Your income is by far one of your greatest wealth building tools, okay? So your income, whatever money you got coming in, whether it's fixed income, whether it's income that you're making from a job, whether it's investment income, whether it's side hustle income, I hope it ain't illegal income. Everything, even illegal, but I don't want it to be illegal, but your income is by far one of your greatest wealth building tools. Your income is. This is very important. So in order for me to really understand the importance of my income, expense, cash flow ratio, and to figure those numbers out, and to build a solid financial framework to move forward, to get more money, to save more money, to create more cash flow, financial opportunities, I need to understand first and foremost that my income is by far one of my greatest wealth building tools. So if you're making income right now, if you're making income from a fixed income, if you're making income from a job, if you're making income from a business, a side hustle, or anything legal, if you got income coming in, if you got money coming in your hand, that's income. Whatever that money is, even though it might not be a lot, we ain't finna be dealing with all that. Oh, I ain't making enough money. I ain't got enough money. We'll deal with that at another time. You must first appreciate whatever you do have coming in. You must first understand the importance of what you do have coming in. See, a lot of people don't even get past that part. A lot of people are stuck right here. Oh, I ain't making enough money. Oh, I ain't got no money coming in and I can't pay my bills. Let's start with the basis. The basis, the foundation. My income is by far one of my greatest wealth building tools. Can we start there? Can we all establish that fact together? Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, LinkedIn, somebody on Mars, if you're listening to me, wherever you are, some audio, video, virtual, hologram that they got me on right now. Listen, your income is by far one of your greatest wealth building tools. Okay? So think about the income you got coming in. Stop thinking about what it's not able to do. Stop focusing on how much income you don't have. We're talking about the income you do have. What kind of money you got coming in. All right? Whatever the amount of money that you got coming in. Well, I don't make the same amount every week. Let's do some averages then. Get your doggone calculator out. Because everybody got all kinds of excuses. Well, I don't make the same amount every week and every 2 weeks. My income fluctuates. Well, let's look back at the last 12 months. How much money have you made in the last 12 months? That's income. So you just take the total amount that you've made from January of 2020 to January 2021. Go calculate all the money that you had come in your hands. Income, side hustles, selling stuff, getting rid of stuff, working 2-3 jobs on the side, fixed income, child support, whatever the income is that you've had that came in within the last 12 months, you divide that total dollar amount by 12, that's your average monthly income. And here's what you have to understand. Your income is by far one of your greatest wealth building assets. Can we all agree on that? Yeah. All right? Your income is by far one of your greatest wealth building assets, which means you never build wealth, you never see financial freedom, you never get out of debt, you never get your credit repaired, and a lot of these things you never get done if you're never focusing on your number one wealth building tool. Because one of your most important wealth building tools is not your credit, is not your ability to leverage debt, it's not your skill set, it's your income. However much money you making that you got coming in. As a matter of fact, I was just reading this article, and this guy, he was 70 years old. He was 70 years old, y'all. 70 years old. And he's a millionaire. He's worth like $3 million. 70 years old, he's worth $3 million. And the guy that was talking to him asked him the question, did you inherit this money? Like, how did you become a millionaire? This is what the guy was asking him. And he said, no, I didn't inherit nothing. I started from zero. He said, so what kind of money did you make in your life when you were working? He said, I never made more than $48,000 a year. He said, I started out, my first job, I was shining shoes for 10 cents a shoe. He says in my 20s, in my teens, he said he was making like, his late teens, he was making up to about $10,000 a year. In his 20s and 30s, he was making 20-something thousand. And then he said when he hit his 40s in the military, he started making like $40-something thousand a year, averaging. And when he got out, he said the most he ever made, one year he made $51,000. He said, but every other year was like $30,000, $40,000. And the guy was like, well, how did you end up a millionaire at 70 years old worth $3 million? he said, watch this, in no uncertain terms, what he said basically was, I'm paraphrasing it, I didn't let my income get out of my hands. He saved his money, he invested his money. He did not let people take his income. So it wasn't that he was making $500,000 a year. It was that he took his $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 income that he had coming in a year, and he utilized it because he understood what I'm telling you. Your income is by far one of your greatest wealth building tools, all right? So now that we've established that fact, all right, here's what we want to do. We want to take our income and we want to figure out how much money do we bring in as income every 30 days. This is how you're going to figure out what your IEC, income expense cash flow ratio, is. You're going to take the total dollar amount of what you have coming in every 30 days. All you got to do is look at the last 30 days, or all you got to do is look at the last 90 days, or all you got to do is look at the last 6 months. Or you can just go back a whole year and look at how much you brought in total for the last month, 3, 6, 9, or maybe a year, and you divide that, all right? If it's a month that you go back, you put that total dollar amount that you've had coming in the last 30 days and you divide it by 4, okay? So that means if you made $2,500 in the last 30 days, that means if you divide it by 4, you averaged about $750 a week. But let's just go through this ratio by the month, okay? You take your dollar amount of how much income you've had coming in the last 30 days. We're going to take the last 30 days. And then you add up all of your expenses. You add up all your expenses. Now, once you add up all your expenses, we're going to go back and do some more breakdowns, but you just want to have a general number to see where you are. So let's say, for example, if you had $2,500 that came in the last 30 days, all right? And then let's say if you had $3,000 a month. Let's say if you had $3,000 a month in the last 30 days, $3,000 that you spent in expenses, okay? So your income would have been, in that example, what? $2,500, that's your income. Your expenses, in my example, would have been $3,000. And your cash flow would have been what? A negative $500. So you're gonna take the last month, the last 30 days, and you're gonna add all the income you've had coming in from every source, because you don't want to dismiss income. That means if you're working on a job, but then you got a side job that you do once a month or once every couple weeks, you don't want to deduct that from your total income, because you want to know what your total income is, because it's going to help you not just determine what your IEC ratio is, but it's also going to help you to really be clear in defining what you need to do to move forward, to fix those numbers and to change that ratio, all right? So you take the last 30 days and you get the total amount, all right? Now, for those of you that were on yesterday, I told y'all that you need to download a financial management app. One of the reasons why you want to download a financial management app, because you shouldn't be doing all these calculations on a piece of paper with a pen. A lot of times I'll do my calculations on a piece of paper and a pen, and I'll use my calculator while I do my numbers, because I'm just running numbers. I'm just playing with different scenarios. I'm just trying to figure out the math behind certain things that I got going on, or that I want to do, or that I flopped on, or whatever it is. But once I figure those numbers out, or once I come up with the solid ratios that I want to go with, then I'm going to drop them. If it's my personal finances, I'm going to drop them on the Mint app, because that's the app that I use. I'm going to drop them on that app, and then I'm going to put my budget or my spending plan together, and I'm going to decide what what I'm going to do moving forward for the next 30 days based on me doing these same type of calculations. If it's my business, I'm going to drop those total numbers in my business on QuickBooks. So let's go back to this calculation. You're going to take the last 30 days. How much income did you have coming in? That total dollar amount, right? Then you're going to take your expenses. What were your expenses for the month of January? What were your total expenses for January or the last 30 days, however you want to calculate it? So when you get the number of your total income and you get the number of your total expenses, then you're going to deduct or subtract your expenses from your income. And what you come up with is your cash flow. Now, if that's negative, guess what? That just means your negative cash flow. But you still want to know that number. A lot of people run from that, but you can't run from that. Remember we used to talk about that?
Yeah.
How, okay, you're negative in your cash flow, but if you're negative, at least you need to know what the dollar amount is. Because once you find the number out, it doesn't seem as hard as it feels when you don't know it.
Right.
Once you see the number, at least your creativity can open up and you can say, oh, wow, I'm $300 in negative cash flow. Mm-hmm. So at least I know if I can make a move in the next 30 days to bring in $300, I won't be negative in cash flow.
Wow.
How many of y'all with me so far on this? How many of you actually do what I'm talking about doing or something similar to this? How many of y'all have the Mint app? Somebody let me know where you at on that. Do you have the Mint app? Do you use the Mint app? Do you use QuickBooks for your business? Do you use some other type of financial management app? And do you actually do your calculations with your income, your expenses, and your cash flow? I do this every week. I tell y'all no lie. I know my numbers every day. I know all of my numbers every day. There's not a number, and I'm not talking about like, you know, I might be $100 or $200 off if something didn't clear or something, or I didn't get the memo about something that I did and I just didn't remember. But I'm just saying, for the most part, I know all of my numbers. Tony, she said, I use QuickBooks. Casey said, I have the app, still learning it. Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad that you're at least, you know, putting forth the effort. Mm-hmm. So you take your income from the last 30 days, you take your expenses from the last 30 days, and then you subtract your expenses from your income and you see what that number actually is. This is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. You got to know what that number is. Now, if you are positive or negative in cash flow, what is the gain? Like, what is the goal? What is the plan? The game, the goal, the plan, whatever word you want to use, it's for you to increase your I, decrease your E, so you can expand your C. See, you want more money coming from the I, skipping the E, and going to the C. Don't miss what I just said. Somebody gonna miss that. Let me say it one more again. They gonna miss that one, ain't it? Yep. I said you want your money that's coming into the I of your income, you want it to skip the E of your expenses, and you want it to drop in the C of your cash flow. That's what you want to do. Because number one, you know that your income is what? By far one of your greatest wealth building tools. Your expenses are probably full of things that you might want in your life but don't necessarily need in your life until you put yourself in a better financial position, which means your E is full of things that are taking, eating, stealing your I, which is your income. Tell me where you see lies at. Check me, correct me if you're hearing lies. Most people, no matter how big their I is, their income is, they continue to increase their E, their expenses, and their E of expenses are full of things that they really just don't need. They really just don't need. My wife and I, we were just talking the other day, and we were having a conversation about something that we saw that we liked, and it would have been for both of us. You know, this is just like a relationship goal purchase. And we looked at it and we was like, oh man. And so me and my wife, I love her so much because she is like the perfect match when it comes to building a solid foundation financially. I mean, she is literally the perfect match for me because my wife, she loves to give. That's her biggest weakness. My wife's biggest weakness is, and it ain't a weakness, it's really her gift. Yeah. She likes to sow, she likes to give. She's always giving to people and sowing to people. But when it comes to like consumer products, when it comes to like being lavish and being extra and always spending money on consumable things, my wife is like me. We don't like to spend money when it comes to that because we want to do the things we really want to do that mean everything to us. Things like going on vacation. We've always gone on vacations ever since we've been married. Not a year goes by that we don't go on vacation. Even in the midst of COVID, how many vacations did we go on last year?
Well, 1 year you didn't, but you went.
Well, I couldn't after I had that accident, 2019. But I did go. We went in May.
Okay.
I had that accident in June. But even last year we went on 2. Okay. We went in September for our anniversary, and then we went back. She wanted to take me back for a week for my birthday. But my point is, we spend the money on things that make our life better, that increase the quality of our lives. But because we are so in tune with our finances, because we watch our finances every day, we learn to have a better relationship with money because we want to make a better impact in the lives of the people that we serve. Because we think like that, guess what? We were having this conversation about this relationship goal purchase that we were thinking about making, and we both said the same thing. Well, we're going to pray about it. And then we prayed, and then the next day, when we finally got in the car and started riding around and going through the course of our day and talking, and I was like, honey, you know, she was like, don't even tell me. I ain't with it either. Because we had them both did the math. And we was like, we was saying to ourselves, you know, it's a blessing that you can be so in tune with your finances that you are so financially responsible and really mature economically that even when you know you can purchase something, you still choose not to purchase it, even when you can. That's financial maturity. That's fiscal maturity and responsibility. And so anyway, let's get back to the ratio. All right, so all of you should have done your homework. If you haven't been able to do it because I'm running my mouth so much, then just let me know what we can do to help you to develop a better relationship with your money. Of course, y'all know we do have our Blueprint Game Plan programs. I'm pushing them like never before because I want a lot of people to get on them. I want to educate a lot of people and train a lot of people to become better at their finances, to become better at entrepreneurship, to become better at owning businesses the correct way and being successful. But it's going to require you to take that leap of faith and make that initial investment in yourself. So if you want to learn more about things similar to what I'm talking about, we have a full financial literacy program in our Blueprint Game Plans, along with an entrepreneurship program, business ownership program, and we teach you the most important aspects of what we're talking about right now. So for those of you that would like to purchase a Blueprint Game Plan, all you got to do is go to RamonPreston.com, RamonPreston.com. You could go there, take a look at what our Blueprint Game Plans are, what's in them, what you're going to learn from them, or you could just text me right now. I'm ready. You could text, I'm ready. I'm ready. Say, Prophet Ramon, I'm ready. I want to learn about financial literacy. I want to be fiscally, financially responsible. I want to become mature in biblical economics, because that's what I'm teaching people. That's what I'm training people in. So you can text "I'm ready" to 404-478-7213. You could text "I'm ready" to 404-478-7213. Or you can just look in the comments, and everything that I'm saying is in the comments. You'll see the information in the comments. So let's go back to our IEC ratio. If you are not able to do that calculation now, please, when this show ends, please take some time, sit down, and stop giving yourself excuses about what you can't do, what I ain't gonna be able to do because I ain't got it. Do you have any kind of money coming into your hands in a 30-day window? Yes or no? If you do not have any kind of money coming into your hands in any 30-day window, then that's a different situation. But if you have any kind of income, whether it is a fixed income, whether it is a pension, whether it is retirement, whether it is some subsidy from the government or from the state or from family or friends or from a baby daddy or a baby mama or a sugar daddy or a sugar mama. If you got somebody on the side throwing you a couple of dollars, you still got income. What I want you to do is to take your total income for the last 30 days. If that's too difficult to do because we're in the second week of the month, then what you need to do is look at how much income did you have coming in throughout the month of January. If that wasn't a good month, you just didn't make a lot of money, then go back 90 days. How much money did you have coming in as income within the last 90 days? Take your total income, and when you do for the last 90 days, I want you to divide it by 3, which is 3 30-day windows, so you can figure out what your 30-day window income is. Once you do that, I want you to calculate the total amount of expenses that you have. Don't say, no, I ain't gonna be able to do that because I already know I don't make enough money and I'm paying bills on credit cards. Well, if you're paying bills on credit cards, those are still expenses. So if you had to pay $300, $400, $500 of bills on a credit card, or you had to borrow $200 to pay a certain bill, those are still expenses. You still want to put that total number of expenses on that expense list for the last 30 days, because what are you trying to do? You're trying to figure out what your income to expense to cash flow ratio is. If you don't commit to do this, you're not going to be creative to change it. That's how it works. It starts with your income, last 30 days, or the first month of the year. Then it goes to your expenses. And then you subtract your total expenses from your total income the last 30 days, or that 30-day window. And whatever you come up with, whether it's negative, even, or positive, is what's considered your cash flow. So if you're negative cash flow, now you are at least able to look forward, not necessarily for a budget, because you ain't really got no money to budget. But you can look forward to see how much money do I need just to break even. But while you're able to do that, you're also able to look at your expense list to see what expenses can I change? Because the goal is what? The goal is to take the money that you got coming in from the I, increase it, and take as much as you can, skip giving it to the E of expenses and giving more of it to the C of cash flow. I hope I'm making sense so far, y'all. I hope I'm making sense so far. If I'm making sense, somebody give me a shout out. Let your boy know he doing something right today. Only if I'm making sense. If I'm not making sense, be 100. Keep it real. Tell me, Prophet Ramon, you goofy. You is cray-cray today. It ain't nothing you saying, goofy, yeah. Ain't nothing you saying, bro, making sense to me. It might not make sense to you, but let me tell you something. I do my numbers every day. Not a day literally, not a day goes by that I don't do my numbers. My wife is the same way. We're going to do them numbers. We're going to know how much we got coming in, how much we got going out. But it starts with this. Now, my I don't know if it's my last point, but my next point, my next point is this. Once you do the 30-day equation of your income, expense, and cash flow, then another good thing to do, thank you, Lori. Lori said it makes much sense. Tony said, I'm keeping it a thou wow. She from the hood, ain't she? Thou wow. That's a thou wow. I get it. I get it. Denise said, yes, you are. Siobhan said, you make all the sense. Thank y'all. Appreciate that. So once you do the 30-day calculation with the income, expense, and cash flow, whether it's negative or positive or even, we ain't worrying about that right now. The next thing you want to do is you want to divide that by 30 days, especially if you're working a job. This is so important for those of you that work jobs, because if you're working a 40-hour week job, one of your biggest challenges is you breaking out of the mindset, not leaving your job, but breaking out of the mindset of what the workforce has put you in. Okay? Let me make sense of that. So when you break your 30-day income, expense, cash flow calculation down into 30 days. So you take the month and now you're going to divide that by 30 days. So basically, for example, if you make $3,000 a month, you're going to divide that by 30 days. So how much is that a day? That's $100 a day. But you want to break your expenses down. You want to break your cash flow down. You want to be able to see every 30 days based on my income, expense, and cash flow ratio calculation. This is how much money I'm making or losing every day. Now, one of the reasons why this is important for those of you that work, because you normally have 2 days off every week. That means you have 8 days off every month. But it feels different waking up them 2 days knowing you losing money than waking up them 2 days and all you happy about is, oh, I ain't got to work these 2 days. Because now you thinking, you know what, even though I ain't got to work on that job these 2 days, but I'm losing $30 today, or I'm losing $70 today. Every day I wake up, I'm spending money. Because every day you spending money. Just because you pay your phone bill once a month don't mean you ain't paying it every 30 days. Because you're not paying that phone bill or that light bill or that gas bill or that car note or that insurance payment or that rent or that mortgage. You're not paying that every 30 days. You're paying it every day. You just got to put that money in there every 30 days. But you're actually paying it every day. And you need to do the math to know exactly what dollar amount am I making or am I spending and losing every day I wake up. You need to do that calculation. Everybody should know that calculation. Everybody should know their IEC ratio, correct? Siobhan say, you ain't doing them numbers too good. You owe me $9 from last Sunday. Siobhan, you crazy. I sure do owe you $9 from last Sunday. I remember I was trying to remember I asked you for some cash. Yeah. I was trying to give my god baby some money for offering, and I didn't have no cash in my pocket because I'm so used to cash apping every service. And she was like, God, Dad, can I get some money for my offering? And I'm like, hold on, boo. And I'm thinking, Lord, I ain't got no money. So I looked, and asked you, and then no cash. I went back there and I think I asked Siobhan. Yeah, Siobhan, I owe you $9. And then she got nerve talking about with interest last week. I'm like, okay, yeah, negative 8% interest. How about that? So now I owe you $6. How about that? I got you, boo, in Tony voice. I got you, boo. So listen, y'all, you want to break that down. You want to break that 30-day ratio down to 30 real days. You want to know exactly what the dollar amount is every day that you're making income, paying expenses, and creating cash flow. Even if you're not working every day, the money you do make on the days that you do work is money that's covering those other days that you don't work. So you really want to do that. Vaughn, love you. I appreciate you, girl. You know I do. So once you do that, here's my last point, because I got to go. It's almost my time. My last point is, once you come up with those numbers, then you can decide, okay, how do I create more income? Because that's the I. You're going to be looking at that I. How can I create more income? How can I increase it? How can I figure out ways to make more money? And then you're going to look at the expenses. How can I minimize my expenses? How can I go lower on those expenses? And then you're going to create cash flow, because the goal, the game is for you to take the I and move as much money from that I through the E. Don't give it to the E, and drop it in the C. All right, that's it, y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all so much. And thank all of you for being a part of the Ramon Preston Show today. I don't know. What are we going to be talking about tomorrow? Let me see. Because y'all need to invite somebody tomorrow. And it's income tax time. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about income categories for tax purposes. So it's going to be very, very good. You ain't going to want to miss tomorrow, because a lot of people are really misunderstood, or they're misunderstanding these three income categories. Those three income categories are really, really misunderstood. So we'll be talking about those tomorrow. But thank all of you for being a part of the show today. I love y'all and appreciate y'all. For those of you that do not have a blueprint game plan, please reach out to us. Go to RamonPreston.com, and or you can text I'm ready to 404-478-7213, and we'll be more than happy to connect you to the blueprint that best fits your criteria. Y'all have an amazing day. We got more work that we got to go do, so we